Hi, my name is Brian, and you're watching Salty Saturdays. Yes, I am hosting today and not Matt. So I'm going to try to do what he does every Saturday and say, I am Mr. Brian, your belabored host of the Salty Saturday show. And I'm joined here with an amazing panel of experts. Joining me first,
I'm not an expert of anything,
is the man, the myth, the legend. Some call him the god of Helldivers too.
No.
Dutch Butters.
Dutch Butters. I have my own theme song now.
You did. I saw that. It was great.
It's pretty awesome, right?
And a man I just met. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know what I was going to say. You threw me.
Sorry, bud.
Introduce
and a man
Shag.
I just met today, but seems like a really good dude. The Shagworth, who likes to argue with people on TikTok. What's up, Shag?
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here and talk about some stuff and be salty.
Yeah. Odin will probably be joining us a little later, and so will Tom, I'm sure. And when they do, we'll pop them in.
Yeah, whenever they get here.
But whenever they.
It's not like they don't know what time the show starts every day. You know?
They've been doing it for a while.
We've been doing this for a little while.
Maybe they show up, maybe they don't. We'll see how it goes. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about Star Wars Acolyte Episode 4. Hopefully, you guys watched that training, that horrible garbage, flaming trash heap. And we're also going to talk about very briefly, because oh my god, Matt gave me an article that has like 900 pages, the Paramount's failed merger. So I read through everything and I have bullet points that will hopefully help me understand it. Also, there's going to be a Spaceballs sequel written by Josh Gad. We're going to talk about that. Lethal Weapon 5 is coming up straight from Mel Gibson's mouth. Biden fails at high-speed internet, and Justin Timberlake arrested for DWI, driving under the influence.
I need to add that Tom, who should be in the channel right now, is in the chat crying about what we're talking about today. So
let me tell you something, Tom.
We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Just hit your link. You know?
Come on in, and we're going to talk about that Disney leak about the not hiring white people thing. That's great. I want to talk about
because Kadish gave us a list of stuff that he wanted us to talk about doesn't mean we have to stick to this list of things that he wants us to talk about. So
So what is the difference between DWI, driving while intoxicated, and then driving under the influence, DUI?
Yeah, I said DUI because I don't know what a DWI is. I guess I don't know that. I don't know what the difference is.
I have no idea.
I should know. My mom was a cop. I should know.
To me, it means the same thing. So
I think it means the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Driving under the influence, driving while intoxicated, but I think it's the same thing. All right. Well, we're going to talk about that. That's actually a pretty funny story. And Tom, please come on in and we'll talk about the Disney stuff. But you clearly know more about it than us, so come in if you want to talk about it. Well, let's just jump into. Oh, well, you know what? First off, our membership goal today is 500 members.
500. Let's go. 500. And 1,000 thumbs ups.
Yes.
500 new members. That's right.
If you're in the chat right now, hit the thumbs up. Gotta hit the thumbs up.
That's it.
For real though, if you want to give gift memberships or become a member, hit that little join button and do it. This is a great channel. You should become a member of this channel, right? Right, Dutch?
That's right. That's right.
I'm gonna say if Tom does join, it's gonna be really hard. I'm gonna have to concentrate because Tom is my government name. So I'm also a Tom. So everyone's like, no, you're not Tom. There's only one Tom. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm the Shagsworth then. So I'll try and stay focused on that.
Tom is your slave name, huh, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
I want to before we even get going, we are only 499 away from Eric Wimberg has gifted one Salty Nerd podcast membership. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Yes, you are getting us started. Only 499 more to go to reach our goal.
That's right.
We got a little super chat here from my Mexican Iron Man. out of town today. We'll catch the replay later. Please, panel, take a moment to recognize the leadership and vision of Mr. Kadish. He's not here, so we are not recognizing his leadership and vision.
He is currently on an airplane with his phone out, watching this show right now, screaming internally at these morons that are just.
What are they doing?
What are they doing?
Why did I tell Brian to host the show?
I know. Yeah.
This is a horrible idea.
No, Mr. Kadish, Matt, was he was on Pop Culture Crisis yesterday, and it was a really cool opportunity for him. Brett Desovic, he comes on our show once in a while. He flew Matt out. He flew Matt out all the way to, I think, Maryland, and Matt was on their show yesterday, and he did a great job. I watched the whole thing, and he got to go see the Cast Castle and hang out with Mary and Brett, and I think he had a good time. So at least I hope he did, so good opportunity for him to make some contacts. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, I love it. So first off, thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. And Julian just got us 5 more. So now we're only 494 away from our
494. Goal. Let's go.
Great.
Watch this actually. Watch some crazy person come in and just give 500 subs. That'd be wild.
Great. Keep it up, guys. We're getting close. We're getting real close.
That's right.
All right. Let's talk about this. First thing you want to talk about is the ACOLYTE episode 4. Listen, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I desperately tried to watch this, and I just kept falling asleep. It's something they were in the jungle or the forest or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it weird how these characters are sisters, and they clearly don't like each other whatsoever. Like they just don't. They don't care whatsoever about, or at least May doesn't care about OSHA, or vice versa.
Hey man, at least you remember their names. So.
I only remember OSHA because it's the name of an organization that continually pesters my business. So, yeah, I didn't. It was a boring episode. I don't really understand why anyone is watching this. I don't know why we're talking about it, but.
Yeah.
Anyone have any good any takes, any ideas, any reviews, any thoughts about this episode?
Well, I, like you, fell asleep 2 different nights trying to watch this 20-minute long episode. It literally took me. It literally took me 3 days to watch a 25-minute long episode of these people whose names I don't know any of them. I don't know, not as of the 40 Jedi that were on this long hike in this forest. I don't know the names of any of them. They were all, it was like the DEI squad in gold robes walking around on goat trails. It was ridiculous. This thing is a shit show, dude. It's
so bad.
It is terrible. I thought Kenobi was bad. And then I thought Ahsoka was bad. These shows just keep getting incrementally worse as they get released. It's just sick. And
this makes Kenobi look like a cinematic masterpiece.
Oh yeah,
in like so many ways.
Do you remember in Kenobi? Every time someone says anything about Kenobi, I remember that one shot where they go through all that effort to get through the gate.
Oh, the fence in the middle of nowhere.
There's a wide shot. There's a wide shot. They can just walk around it.
Yeah, just walk around the gate. Just walk around it.
It's pretty bad.
Deal.
No, at least that was more entertaining than this. Like honestly, like that had more, entertainment value. There was also a character in this episode who was blue. I can't remember her name.
That's Leslie Headland's wife in the real world.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, she's a horrible actress.
Nepotism for Star Wars, guys.
Really, really bad.
Wait, which character?
She's like blue or green or something.
She's like the blue Jedi Master who's kind of a bitch. And
the bald one?
She complains. Yeah, she's bald and she's
green.
Green
one.
She bitches out the Asian Jedi because he didn't know about the Sith or something. I don't know. Or he didn't know that someone had died or they didn't die. I don't know. It's hard. I don't remember.
That's something you mentioned. Something that's really bothering me about this show. This takes place 100 years before.
I think 170 years or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, right?
I just don't. It doesn't. nothing really matches up right on like timeline for me. Not only with the the birth of the Jedi Master, whatever his name is there, forehead guy, but I just don't like. Everyone just seems so mystified by this whole like Sith thing, or like no one's ever heard of the Sith. Like they're so the Sith only existed before this time. There was never, ever, ever a dark side force user prior to this. Through all the formation of the High Republic and everything, never once was there a bad force user.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Like, and all of a sudden, like, oh, maybe it's a splinter.
I thought there had to be like balance or whatever, right? That's like, there has to be like the force is like this force of nature that has to like achieve balance in the universe. I don't fully understand this. And everyone's nerding out about this Ki-Adi Mundo character.
Ki-Adi Mundi. He's the guy with the big cone head. In the prequels.
Yeah, but
who is apparently he's one of the Jedi in this show. Apparently a younger version of him. But in Star Wars, George Lucas canon, he's not even alive yet. He's not even born for another, I think, 40 years or something like that.
Oh, so I see.
Whoever
stuff like this.
Yeah. Whoever the writer is, the showrunners of this stuff, and why they're approving these things. They don't know Star Wars at all. Worse than me. And I am not a extended universe guy. I don't know all this stuff either. So, but even I know that Ki-Adi Mundi is not even a tickle in his dad's ball sack yet, so
I gotta tell you that watching Star Wars Theory totally become black pilled.
Oh, it's
fun. It has been a treat.
It really has.
The show is horrible, but watching Star Wars Theory, he does these reviews where he's like watching it and he's just like
well, now his skits are so hilarious. I love watching those skits that he's done.
That's the best thing that ever happened to that guy's channel, because like all of a sudden I'm finding him extremely entertaining, and before I didn't care for him at all. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but like I didn't care about what he was talking about. Now he's the best. He's the best thing every week after the ACOLYTE airs.
This. I mean, the only thing I think that I liked about this episode, if I were to say something nice about it, was there's a couple of cool shots of the landscape, like the establishing shots of where they were. Like it was pretty nice looking. There was very like Lord of the Rings-esque shots of them like walking across like the ridge lines and everything. But then as quickly as it's cool, it kind of goes to like, well, why are they here? Why do we even care? They have this little rat looking thing that sniffed his panties, and now they're going to, find him. And like the bug thing was like so short lived. Like, oh, they see all these bugs. One flies up. I'm thinking that whole forest is going to turn on them, and then they're going to be screwed. And there's never any
build
have
up money in the VFX budget to make more bugs.
Right. Like, and then you get to the guy and like he dies off screen and you're like, what? And I don't know, like, I don't want to jump too far ahead, obviously, but like the whole episode was so short. You have 5 minutes and 10 minutes of credits on both ends and recap. And then you get to the end and you have 6-7 people running at this guy. And I'm like, oh, this is a big showdown. Is this it? Nope. Next. I'm like, I don't know. I don't even care what's going on. There's no reason. There's no buildup. Why am I afraid? He's got like this weird Halloween mask on that has teeth and he's smiling.
So I will bet you $1,000 that it is a woman under that mask.
100%.
It's one of their moms. It's either the chick with the horns or the black lady whose name.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. Because they want revenge for when they killed their order of the other witch ladies that make no sense either, but whatever, it's fine.
You mean when their daughter burned down their stone mountain?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, and that happened in a split second. She goes, I'm going to kill you. And then she, that was episode 3, right? So they throw the thing and all of a sudden this whole place is on fire and everyone's dead. Yeah.
The rock mountain fire and everyone just died.
And she's probably all burned up and that's why she has a mask over her face.
Right.
She wants revenge against all the Jedi.
Yeah, it's something like that.
So she's going to take her daughter, not let her know who she is, and secretly train her and evil dark side powers and stuff, whatever.
Well, there's no reason either. Like when she gets she has this moment of realization where she's like, I need to turn myself in and help. And I'm like, why? Like you just broke my neck because you just stopped and all of a sudden did a 180, went back the other way. Like, what is the real motivation here? Just because you sit like, huh?
Yeah.
No, and this makes
her
even
sister
more
doesn't
sense.
care.
Hold on. This, Gavin Blackburn in the chat is saying it's the guy with May, the Asian dude. It's been confirmed by a behind the scenes screenshot. Oh, okay. Well, that makes even more sense. That's more really good writing, that the evil Sith is the dude who has a crush on her. Okay, yeah, whatever.
Well, he's built like a woman, so that makes sense.
That's true. That's true.
He is built like a woman.
When he was like when the bad guy's walking towards the camera, like you could see it's like this little frail sort of like build, and that in the helmet's like the proportions of it are weird with everything else. That's why I thought, oh, maybe it is a woman here. I mean,
at least if it was one of the two moms, that had their thread pulled, it would make somewhat of a story sense,
right?
So, but just some random dude, no, come on.
Well, that and would create somewhat of that it would make sense, and it would be an interesting twist in the whole thing. Like, oh, so May survives, one of the moms survives, which I would guess would be the white one because she seemed a little bit more evil. The other one seemed like kind of cool with OSHA becoming a Jedi, and then like, oh, now there's a reason for them to come together and fight the mom or try and fight these bad powers or whatever, or the Sith. So, but I don't know. I don't know if that's even. I don't even know if I care. I'll keep watching because they're short, thank God. But
I want to know. So something I've seen a lot of discourse about how Dave Filoni is ultimately the one who okays all this kind of stuff that went into the show. But wasn't this show in the can before Dave Filoni got his promotion? Because they were pushing this show.
They were advertising it before
a couple of years ago, right? Like a Star Wars Celebration. I think it was already done, and that was like 2 years ago now, right? And I don't think Filoni's been in that new position of his that long. Maybe I'm completely wrong and off base, but
I'm pretty.
I'm not defending
the show
Dave
before
Filoni,
this
but
promotion. Yeah.
So, but I feel like this show has been finished and complete mostly for a couple of years now, and they're just now airing it, probably because they knew how shitty it was. But I could be completely off, so I don't know. I just feel like we've been talking about this show for a very long time, and we're just now finally seeing it.
We've been talking about it for years.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I don't know. I want to try it. I'd say I am sick of the black pilling of things, and I hate just talking about how awful things are.
Yeah,
and that's why I say, like, I try when I watch these episodes, I go into them being like, all right, let me see what I enjoy about it. But this show is so poorly written on so many like levels, and not only that, but I'm just not even convinced of the world. Right? Like it looks like it's nice establishing shots, a couple of good set pieces, but like. I don't believe that this world exists because their costumes look like straight out of Spirit Halloween. But then you watch something like Game of Thrones House of the Dragon, and you're like, I believe this world is real. Like if I open the door, it could exist. And that's not at all what you get from this show. And it's immersion breaking, right? It's like this uncanny valley type of like, oh, there's something off with this.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Same thing with Rings of Power. Like the visuals were all great, but like I didn't believe any of the characters were actually there. Like it looks like a theater production.
Exactly.
It's weird because I've been watching Rings of Power with my wife again, getting her caught up to watch season 2.
Why?
And we were about 3 episodes in, and she was like, this is really bad. And she's not part of this culture war stuff. She doesn't know anything about the drama. She doesn't really care, dude. She's a school administrator and she works at Disney. Like, she's not one of those people that gives a crap about any of this stuff. She goes, this is actually really bad. Yep. And I'm down to not watch it anymore. I'm like, thank God. Let's turn on House of the Dragon.
Yes.
Put on House of the Dragon season 1, and she's like hooked. Episode 1, bro. So it was like the difference between these two shows.
You started her with season 1, right?
Season 1, because season 2 is just popped.
Right.
And she's hooked right away, and it's because like it's immersive, like it feels like all this stuff fits, the characters work,
it's a
everything
dirty, gritty, lived-in world, and that's how it comes off as. Watching these sterile, clinical, made on the volume, Spirit Halloween store looking Star Wars shows, and even the Lord of the Rings stuff compared to something like House of the Dragon, like you guys are saying, it's wild. I mean, these shows don't stand a chance. If they know House of the Dragon's going to be out, I wouldn't put nothing within weeks of either side of that show coming out. I mean, it's just next level almost compared to
what'd you call it, the volume? It's
you can
screen.
Yeah, we've all watched enough of these shows to where we can totally tell when something's made into volume.
You can tell now. And the volume thing is, I don't think it's working out.
I don't think they're using it they're trying to overuse it. They're trying to replace the location shooting and stuff with these cool volume things.
Working.
And it's not working.
So
like how many shots?
Volume sucks.
How many shots can we have of a Jedi or a Sith running through some kind of creepy forest or swamp, being chased by or chasing something? That's it's in every Star Wars show now.
Same with Star Trek Discovery was just like every single shot was shot on this volume thing. And at what point I'm thinking, I'm not even sure if they're building sets anymore. Like entire sections of the ships that they were in were just volume shots, and it's obvious. Everything looks sort of fake.
Yeah, right.
Like it's a little too far away, and I guess it's better for the actors, and I guess it's easier for the creatives because everything's there, but it doesn't feel real. It doesn't.
Well, what's worse? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say what's worse is they spend millions of dollars on these shows, and they don't look real. Like at least the House of the Dragon, which is throwing out 15 million an episode. You're like, okay, well, I know where that's going. It's going to a world that's built, and I believe that these people are in it. And like you could take a plane to it right now, and you would see dragons and everything. Where this is like, it looks like a Disney set at Disneyland, and it would be fake, and you just know it. And it's unfortunate because there are good actors in here. There are, like, even the guy with the funky hair, the Killmonger hair, like he's a decent actor. He's not good with PR. We know that. The Soul, the Asian Jedi Master, he's a good actor, but like that, and even I don't even hate what's her name, May, but I know I know everyone will roast me for that, but there are good actors in this, but what's being written on the page is so bad, and combined with the set pieces and all that, and there's just no motivation for these characters to be doing what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about it is obviously the writing is cheap. Like people don't know anything about Star Wars, or very little about Star Wars. But then additionally, like, it's not entertaining because we can tell that it's not real, and it feels sterile. The characters are in air-conditioned hangar bays with TV screens behind them, basically.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work. All right, well, that's enough about ACOLYTE.
You done with the ACOLYTE? We got to
spend more time on ACOLYTE than I thought we were going to spend somehow.
Well, we don't got much else to talk about for the next hour and a half. So we
got a lot more to talk about. Ready?
You want to do these couple super chats here? Let me grab these up real quick.
Go ahead.
Shorty Short for $1.99. Thank you. Watch Shmi will be recognized as a witch. So maybe she's like a daughter of one of these witch people. Yeah, for sure. Because didn't the Force, like pull her thread too, and that's how Anakin came to be. I'm so confused with this thread stuff. I don't know what's going on.
The thread thing is so stupid.
It's like
because they went back to midi-chlorians. That's why. It's dumb.
So yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that, Shorty Short, and Ryan for 10
euros.
10 euros. If the writing wasn't bad enough, the production is terrible. They made the Sith guy look like the Gimp from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, he did.
They really did. He definitely has a Gimp mask. He should have a red ball, that he can strap around his face. On, put a gag in there. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, reminds me of That movie in the end. What's I'm forgetting his name. Anyway, let's move on.
Moving on.
This next story is about Paramount's failed merger. Paramount, the company that makes Star Trek and Paramount Global and whatever. There was a failed merger between Paramount Global and Skydance. Now, Dutch. Sorry, I dead name you there, bro.
This is going to be the world's quickest segment because
you're an expert on all things business. I wanted to.
Yeah, I looked. So Kadish sent me this article. I saw Sherry Redstone, board member shares lawsuits, and I went, nope. And I said, I'm not reading this, and I didn't read it.
So long, bro.
It's so boring and so long. It's like 5,000 words.
Someone took a lot of time to try to make this as epic as possible.
A boardroom phone call antics, and I can't get into this stuff. This is worse than talking about cryptocurrency to me.
Right. But there are some people that really
people love this stuff. Some people love this stuff.
No, but you don't understand, bro. Decentralized banks, bro.
These are the people. These are the same
dollar, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Listen, these are the same people that watch the Fox Business Channel. Okay, I'm a TMZ guy. I'm a YouTube guy. I don't watch Fox Business. It's boring. It's just
Well, let me give you guys the bullet points, and you guys can jump in if you have any ideas. First off, Sherry Redstone decided against merging Paramount Global with Skydance, ending negotiations June 11th. Apparently, that was a big deal. Despite extensive preparations for the meeting, Redstone called off the deal minutes before it was going to start. The main issue was their push for shareholder vote to protect against lawsuits, which conflicted with Skydance's expectations. Blah, 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 blah. Paramount Global faces significant financial pressure with $14 billion with a B, in debt and shrinking profits, but they are confident that by 2025 they can be profitable again. Any thoughts?
Nope. No thoughts. That was awesome.
I don't believe for a fucking minute that they're going to be profitable next year. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The funny thing about this is one of the last lines was Paramount Global's value has drastically decreased over the years from $30 billion in 2019 to just under $7 billion in 2024. Wild.
That's crazy. Crazy stuff.
No one cares.
Yes.
I think the problem with a lot of this stuff, and like I don't like these kinds of subject matters either. Like I just can't get into them, similar to what you guys are talking about. But a big issue with a lot of these companies is they get too big for their britches. Mm-hmm. And the streaming services don't seem to help anybody, or I don't know. There's just too much at this point. And I understand why they're doing it, but I think they need to get back to what they do best and produce good movies. And I don't know. I don't really know all that much about this stuff, and I apologize I didn't read this article. But as you guys kind of said, it was long, and I don't love the subject matter in general.
I tried to read it. I read it. It didn't stick.
It's just not very interesting. Someone in the chat, Dark Winter says, "Why does Paramount have this? What does Paramount have that Skydance wants, and why did they say no?" Well, Skydance probably wants Paramount's catalog because that's what's valuable. That's the real stock. Like having a streaming service is not as valuable as actually having IP, which is why Amazon spent $8.5 billion to buy MGM, which was effectively a zombie studio, was because MGM owned 5,000 plus original IPs. Mm-hmm. That's what's valuable to them. Why did Paramount say no? She cites like legal issues and lawsuits and stuff like that, but I don't think that's the real reason. And it wasn't interesting enough for me to really find out, quite frankly. All right, let's talk about something more fun. This popped up a couple weeks ago. Josh Gad, remember that guy, Josh Gad? This is Josh Gad, by the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's a funny guy. He has some brain worms, but
he's funny looking.
He's still sort of funny
looking.
So he had this script that came out and it was just a Josh Gad, Dan Hernandez, and Benji Submit. Didn't have a title, based on characters by, and you can see Mel there. So it could be Mel Gibson, Mel Brooks, whatever. He said, just handed in a film script that I think may be the funniest and best thing I've ever worked on, and I'm so freaking excited. What is it? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's Spaceballs, the sequel.
Yeah.
Yes, he wrote it along with his partners, the same people who wrote Mutant Ninja Turtle, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Mutant Mayhem, which that was garbage. Pokemon Detective Pikachu, not bad flick. Addams Family 2, and the upcoming Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. So, how do you guys feel about Spaceballs 2, written by Josh and starred by Josh Gad, and apparently Mel Brooks is still producing, but
God, how old is Mel Brooks now?
He's like 90, isn't he? He's like 90 something.
113.
It's 30 years too late. That's what. Like, I don't give a fuck at this point if Spaceballs 2 comes out. But sorry, I don't know if I can swear.
No, you're good.
Too late.
Swear away.
Go ahead.
Like, I don't care. Like, this move, like Spaceballs 2 may have been relevant in the years following Spaceballs. But and the thing is what they'll probably do is they'll try and get a couple people who are still hanging on from the original movie, and they'll do cameos and stuff. But like Rick Moranis isn't acting anymore. John Candy's dead. Is Bill Pullman still alive? Or is he died? He's alive.
He's alive, but I haven't seen him in a long time.
Right. Joan Rivers is dead. So like, what do you, I mean? Yeah, you can get people to fill in the roles and stuff like that. I don't care. Spaceballs is a classic. It's okay to make a really great movie and be done with it. I think that's what something Hollywood needs to learn is they don't always need sequels and you don't always need remakes. Please.
Well, they're creatively bankrupt. That's all they know how to do now is make something attached to something else. They can't make new things. And if they do, then it's just like, I keep thinking of
guys, if they stuck to the original idea of making fun of Star Wars, they have so much material to work with now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
Okay, like consider what if they didn't try to make a direct sequel with all kinds of cameos and all the typical sequel, and they just wanted to make another Spaceballs movie where it's making fun of the next Star Wars movie, and all of a sudden we get whatever, some
Rise of the Schwartz or something.
Yeah, the Schwartz Awakens or whatever.
Schwartz Awakens, yeah.
Like, I mean, consider that for a minute. Like, it could actually be good if it's not trying to follow the normal sequel and it's trying to do what Spaceballs did so well back then and just make a satirical movie that makes fun or spoofs Star Wars.
Yeah.
And there's so much really bad Star Wars to spoof now, it would not be very hard.
Well, the problem is, go ahead. Okay.
No, I was gonna say, I don't know if these soft little man babies that go to watch TV nowadays can handle a real Mel Brooks satire movie. I mean, I think people, I don't think people, at least all the people that are the critics and everything, they wouldn't have a real movie. I mean, could you imagine Blazing Saddles coming out right now?
Oh my God, Blazing Saddles couldn't exist now.
It couldn't exist.
Are you seeing more and more? I'm sorry to cut you off, but more and more of these streaming services had these disclaimers before a movie where it's like, this was filmed at a different time. Sorry for offending someone or whatever. You're like, what the? It's so. Oh God, it's so soy boyish.
It's really sad that comedy is basically, dead right now, and there's lots of people out there trying to bring it back, but what was that movie with Bert Kreischer that came out last year? It was pretty funny, but it didn't.
Oh, it's based on his bit. Right?
The
Machine.
Yeah.
Oh, The Machine. That wasn't a bad movie.
It wasn't a bad movie, but it didn't do anything in the box office that I can recall.
Yeah, to be fair though, there was something weird about it where it was like it came out in a limited amount of theaters, and then
Right.
when it came on streaming, it wasn't like you could only buy it from like his website for like the first month or
Mhm.
something weird.
Yeah.
And then you can buy it on like Amazon, but you couldn't rent it. And then it it was just dumped on Netflix. The way its release was really odd. Like I couldn't have seen it in the theater. I didn't live near one of the few theaters it was in. I wasn't gonna go buy it from some guy's website.
Right. I actually got to see it in the theater, so I guess
Did you?
I guess my theater, yeah. But
it wasn't here for me.
But I think comedies is in a weird place right now, especially with movies. I mean, I can't think of an actual really big movie that was a comedy that's come out here recently. I mean, what was the last? I keep thinking like The Hangover, but that was 15 years ago now at this point, I think, or longer. So I don't really want to throw that in there. But comedy, man, it's hard for them to do real comedy without, breaking all the rules that they have set up in Hollywood now. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do with this. But I don't anticipate Spaceballs 2 being all that funny. I just don't think these people are capable of making a proper sequel to a movie like that. And I didn't like Spaceballs. I'm one of these people. I'm sorry. I know people are going to push back at me, but it's one of the few Mel Brooks movies that I just never really got into. I thought it was too campy and too silly, but it was also probably because I was like a weird Star Wars fan who didn't like Darth Vader being disrespected, but whatever, it's fine. I don't even really care at this point anymore, but it is what it is.
If you guys want to see a really funny movie that came out recently and it's comedy, go watch Please Don't Destroy the Treasure from Foggy Mountain. This movie is really funny. I mean, like really, really funny. Here's a quick scene from it.
No sound.
Oh, I can get the sound to work. It's a funny movie, and it is a recent comedy. So there is good recent comedies that are rated R that are coming out still. They're far and few between, and they're usually relegated to some streaming service and not a theater release.
I will disagree that I do think that comedy is in a good place at the moment if you're talking comedy stand-up, because the good thing about it is you have platforms like TikTok and even like YouTube Shorts and stuff like that. Like you can build a great audience off of there. All these comedians have their own independent podcasts that they can do and bring stuff to you on. And in that way, like I see so many shorts and TikToks of comedians like roasting their audience who are like, that's not funny. And they're just like, then I do think that there's a huge audience that wants that honest comedy back. Hollywood, though, is a different story. And that's like kind of what we're saying is like, we can't, especially Josh Gad, that's his name, right? He will probably not write that comedy that we want. It won't be in the same vein as the original, because the original, I think, was I think mostly devoid of politics, and like it was just taking the piss out of everybody.
It was irreverent, right?
And this one is going to be, I'm going to put in as much of modern day as I can, and we all know too, like our criticisms of Star Wars now is always is combated with, oh, that's racist or that's sexist or misogynistic, whatever. And like, so these guys don't want to be caught up in that, because if they do it, that's what'll happen. They'll be like, oh, they just made this movie and they're totally disparaging these hardworking women. It's like, what? Yeah. No, we're just having fun and having a laugh.
Yeah, I think.
Josh Gad is also is one of those like super liberal guys too.
Yeah, so, he's not the guy I want at the tip of that spear.
Although at one point there was a time where he was very funny. I remember thinking this guy's a funny guy.
But Mel has also been like kind of openly woke himself in his last few years here. So I mean, and that's the other reason I don't really want is I don't really want his angry like fuck Trump type of thing like in there. I don't care to watch that. So
it's a Hollywood mind virus, man. It just infects everyone that works there, dude.
Yep.
I have friends of mine that are good people. They work in the industry, and they start talking to me behind off stream, behind closed doors. They're pretty much on the same level as us, and the longer they spend in this industry, the more and more just woke and brainworm they get. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Something to do with the people you're around.
But I hear that all the time. Everybody in Hollywood knows that Hollywood's broken and that everything is being destroyed and tore apart from within. But everybody's afraid to say something. Well, if everybody knows it, everybody's afraid to say something, then maybe they should just realize how many people that there are that feel the same way, and they should fix the shit.
So many people I've talked to, they're like, well, I can't do anything about it now, but I plan to work in the industry, work my way up until I can make, really quality stuff. And you're like, oh, that sounds great, man. And then like 2 years later, they have a Black Lives Matter tattoo. They're wearing a mask and they're talking about how horrible Orange Man Bad is. And you're like, what happened? Dude?
If half the people on the studio that stop working because they're tired of the nonsense, things will change. They just have to,
It's easy to say from
I get that.
Here.
I get that.
The sake in your chair.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's why. And I mean, I feel for these people in some respect, because you want to feel, especially those who are working up and want to be actors and actresses. Like this is like, they might give up everything they have. They've been working towards it. And then all of a sudden they realize like, oh shit, like I either have to fall in or like hop on the bread lines. You don't want to be ostracized before you're even in the club. Right. And then, because I have my criticisms of a lot of things, do I want to voice all of them at once? No, I got to play the game, because even though I might want to like push back on something that I think is wrong, like there's a way to do it. And that's kind of the same thing in Hollywood. And Hollywood is such a big thing, and it spans so many different industries. And really the people who at the top, who I think matter and control all this stuff, are stuck in, like, they're the ones who are really in this right now, that are infected with that parasite. And the people below, who you're saying just walk away, like even if they walk away, like, oh, it doesn't matter, this guy will just point and grab another 10 people off the street. So,
and there's so many fodder to fill their cannons. Hey, Dev Rowe had a good point. Shane Gillis has the series Tires. That's really funny. That's a really funny show. Shane Gillis is pretty funny, man.
Yeah, so I hear Shane Gillis and then I automatically think Joe Rogan and that whole Austin comedian scene. Those are the guys that are saving comedy.
Yes.
That Kill Tony show, Shane Gillis, Joe Rogan, Ari Scheifer, Bert, Tom Segura, all those guys, they're incredibly funny. And
what about the Detroiters? Is that what it's called? Have you guys seen this? I'm forgetting the comedian's name. I think it's called the Detroiters. There's a show called the Detroiters. And at first I thought it was going to be some super woke thing, that it's like about a white guy and his black friend that grew up together, and they run a marketing business. And it starts off that way, but it gets more and more irreverent, and it doesn't worry about social issues. And because there's a black guy and a white guy, they can tackle both angles without getting a lot of heat. It's really quite good. I'm gonna look up. Right. Yeah, it's called the Detroiters, I think. Yeah, that's a good show. Yeah.
Is it streaming? What's it streaming on?
It's streaming on Peacock, man. Here.
Wow.
It's on Paramount.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. It's a good show, man. You got to get past the first couple episodes, but after that, it gets really funny.
Right on.
Nice.
Okay, let's move on from that. Let's talk about something even more fun. All right.
I feel like it's not going to be more fun.
Did you know, Mr. Shagworth, that not a single American has received Biden's high-speed internet despite $42.5 billion in funding?
What?
Wow.
I can believe it.
Believe that?
Sure,
I totally
can.
believe that.
Yeah, of course you can. This is according to Brendan Carr. In 2021, the Biden administration got $42.45 billion from Congress to deploy high-speed internet to millions of Americans. Years later, it has not connected even one person with those funds. In fact, it now says that no construction projects will even start until 2025 at the earliest. You mean when Trump's in office and he completely kills that bill?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Biden admin has been layering a partisan political agenda on top of this $42.45 billion program, a liberal wish that has nothing to do with connecting Americans, climate change mandates, tech biases, DEI requirements, favoring government-run networks, plus and more. Wow. What do you think about this, Dutch Butters?
Well, you know, I would really love to have high-speed internet access at my house, but until they can find a half Mexican, half black gay dude to drive the truck out to install it, then I guess I'm out of luck. So
yeah, it needs to be a half Mexican, half black, trans gay man who's also disabled and has
disabled. That's right.
So they have to like build a whole new van so they can get.
Yes, they have a special cart attachment.
Right.
To,
that's what's holding it. DEI requirements are holding this up.
I'm gonna fucking ring the door, open the door, and it's gonna be Ricky Berwick out there doing stuff. Dude, come on, your cable installed. Oh, hey, what's up? You know.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty crazy though. Imagine getting $42+ billion 4 years ago, and then not even having to worry about the fact that you haven't fulfilled a single promise that you got that $42 billion for. Yeah. I mean, this is actually nuts. And we're not going to talk about this in the news. We're not going to see this on debates, talking heads, because it's boring. It doesn't get clicks. It doesn't get views. This is not something that anyone's really going to talk about, but this is a drop in the bucket when you want to talk about the amount of money this particular administration has just blown for almost 4 years. I'm talking about blown, just billions and hundreds of billions of dollars just thrown in the trash. The same people that were like, you can't build your wall because it's going to cost $50 billion have already spent $300 billion this year.
We could have built the wall across the entire border, north and south.
Yeah, and Canada.
Probably 300 feet tall, 200 feet thick, with lasers and machine gun mounts every 50 yards attached to it, with all the money that they spent and sent to Ukraine and done all this nonsense.
AI-controlled sharks with lasers on their heads.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, like, to consider how much money we've sent to Ukraine, how much money we've blown on all these projects we've just given, thrown away, burnt in the back for nothing. Yeah. We could have built, you're right, 4 walls, 5 walls. It could have been a multi-wall tiered
600 feet tall with the moats between each level,
filled with alligators,
fucking crocodiles and alligators.
What about just the money we spent on the southern border? Just that money alone. Like, take everything else out. Just that one little bit of money could have built 2 walls already. But no one's talking about this. It's crazy.
I will say, let me say, as someone who works in construction, like it doesn't surprise me that they haven't really broken ground on stuff, because even small projects sometimes get like extremely delayed, but like there doesn't even seem to be a plan in place for this, because the money is basically, they say, hey, $42 billion, we're going to push that to the side, and this is what you have to work with. So all these states can start working on their infrastructure, which I'm guessing is fiber infrastructure, right? Yeah. Like we're not, like that's
I hope it's fiber and it's not coax from 1967.
You never know with this fucking guy, though.
I do know that.
Don't know. Yeah.
Google, I just saw this week that Google Fiber has been approved to come into Las Vegas. So
and
we're kind of excited about that.
Parts of Texas, it's in Tennessee. Dude, one reason I was considering moving to Tennessee was because of that sweet free Google Fiber. 1 gig up, 1 gig down. It's like a dream.
Yeah, so I do understand that this stuff gets delayed, but this is an infrastructure project I think should go through. And if Trump eliminates it, if he gets elected, I think it would be bad. I think what he needs to do is get into office and then actually complete it within his first year, or at least doesn't need to.
I don't think he'll delete it. I think he'll just cut out all the bureaucratic bullshit. That's time.
Right. Yeah. Stop piling everything on top of on top of it. Yeah.
Regardless of how you feel about Trump, because the people out there that just hate the guy, like, he's very good at getting things done. Like
Mhm.
there isn't a whole lot of presidents in my lifetime who would actually promise something and then turn around and actually do things. Cancel that, move that, pull these people out of here, fix this. I think that in his first term, I think Trump bit off way more than he can chew. I don't think he realized how deep that swamp was.
Yeah.
But even then, he got a lot more done in the limited amount because he only really got a couple years than most presidents do. It's like, yeah, he might actually pull this off, but it shouldn't cost. They're not. It's not going to end at $42 billion. This is going to be like some other earmark thing. We need more money for this. It's going to be some other earmark inside of another 1,000-page bill that has like $100 billion attached to it, and there's another earmark for some social government program for training disabled trans people or something.
Yeah,
it's always everything is bloated.
Yeah,
it's like, what do you need a golden hammer to get started? What's the deal, bro?
Well, that's what if Trump really wanted to make a difference, or whoever is elected really wants to make a difference, they need to somehow eliminate the fact that you can do that. Like there shouldn't be 1, 2, 3, 4,000 page bills that are all like stacked within each other,
right.
Or like there shouldn't be anything like that. It should be like, sorry, it's more work, but you signed up for this. You have a bill, you have something you want to accomplish, like, infrastructure in the United States. You write that bill up. That's all it is. Everyone can read it and vote on it. You don't have to
Thank you, Shaq. Bills should be one thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It should be one. There shouldn't be more than one thing in a bill.
Right.
And I don't care if it's more work for you. I'm sorry. You got elected and you're paid by the government to do what? Like you spend every 2 years, you spend 2 years campaigning for your next 2 years and not doing your actual job.
Yeah.
We're asking you to do your job for more than 6 months out of the 4 years you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Please.
I mean, it's not that hard.
I got to do my job every day. I can't just not show up. Right. I'm sorry. I'm making my resume for the next job I get. Can't be here today.
Pete Buttigieg or whatever his name is like, he was, he's the transportation guy or whatever. Yet him and his boyfriend, husband or whatever, had a kid. They both took maternity leave for like 8 months, bro.
Yeah. Oh, it's wild.
I wish I can get a maternity leave. Jeez. So all I'm saying is this: is a bill should have one thing in it. It should not have 800 different things, because it's too easy to hide crap in there. And I know, and we all know that there's a rub going on. That's corrupt.
I got called in the office one time for giving a guy at my workplace shit for taking maternity leave when his wife had a baby. I was like, "Oh, did you have that baby? You need 6 weeks? You need 6 weeks to take off because you pushed that baby out?" It's like, come on, man. I went pretty hard on the guy, but whatever.
Yeah, but Pete Buttigieg, he adopted the kid. Yeah. Him and his husband adopted a child and then took almost a year off for their
ridiculous,
unreal.
Anyways.
Yeah, this my last thought on this is just like you could totally make this work, but you have the issue is you separate it away from everything else. You got to allocate the funds properly and let the states use those funds how they're supposed to. I mean, that's why you put that money aside. And you have someone that actually does it. Make these people in Washington do their actual job. It's insane.
And if a state doesn't use the money properly, that money needs to be taken out of their next thing. Like, we need to stop just forgiving states wasting federal funds. This happens too often, especially in California, dude. So much money is wasted. We need more money for water, reservoirs, et cetera, because of our ongoing drought. By the way, a drought that's been happening since I was like 3 years old.
Yeah.
Yet we flush 78 or 83% of our rainwater into the bay to protect the endangered little fishies. Get out of here, bro. It's crazy. Like, someone needs to see that and be like, all right, well, you're not getting any more money, motherfucker. You don't have a water issue. You have a management issue.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Enough about this. Let's talk about something more fun.
That was fun politics. Yay. Yeah. Yay, politics.
I mean, My bad.
We're in trouble, Brian. We're only in this an hour, and I think
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Matt put that on the list. He had to have known with us three here that it was going to become something unhinged.
Yeah, for sure.
I just met Shag, but he knows Shag. So, all right, let's talk about this. Lethal Weapon 5 coming out. Mel Gibson. I'm gonna play a video for you guys, and we're gonna talk about this. All right. Oh wait, you need to hear sound, huh?
Yeah.
How do I do that again?
I don't know.
Let's find out. All right.
Talk for a minute.
I'll figure this out.
One of the things I love about this video that we're going to see is Mel Gibson is he's getting a little gravelly. He's getting a little old. I feel like he's really like ready to play that old Max in an old Mad Max movie. It's just I want Mel to have like some kind of old Mel resurgence, and I think this Lethal Weapon 5 movie might be the one to kickstart something like that. So,
all right, the sound should be working now. Ready?
Yep.
I'm gonna direct the fifth film in the Lethal Weapon series. And Richard Donner, who did the other four, sadly passed away, and he's a good friend, and he kind of tasked me with carrying the flag home on that one. So I find it'll be an honor for me to do that, and we're trying to keep it. He had gone a fair way into the screenplay, so we've used what was there, and we kept kind of poking at it and working it. I'm pretty happy with it. It's good. I had a lot of fun doing it. So
you were saying in the meet and greet earlier that you've been working on the script and you're really, really happy with it, and you think there's a lot of funny bits, and you're very confident it's going to do.
Yeah,
big. I think it's going to be huge when it's announced.
It's funny, but it's pretty serious too. It's like it tackles a couple of hard issues, so I'm looking forward to.
It tackles some hard issues. That should scare you right there.
Yeah, but Mel's a pretty conservative dude. He's not.
He is. That's true. I actually trust. I enjoy Mel Gibson's work more than I enjoy a lot of cool stuff. Like that. Here is that movie on Hulu. I think it was called Boss Fight. It was with Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson was the bad guy, basically. And it's like a time loop movie. If you haven't seen it, I envy you because it's such a fun movie, bro. Basically, the guy his day keeps getting restarted until
that's the movie with Frank Grillo, right?
Or Boss. Let's go. Yeah, it's called Boss Level. Yes, Frank Grillo.
Yeah, Boss. Yeah, that's a good movie. We actually reviewed that on the podcast last year.
Yeah,
or so.
That is a great movie, and Mel Gibson had a big hand in that. He actually plays like the final boss, and really good movie. Like Mel Gibson, he could still bring the heat.
Yeah.
So I do believe that Mel Gibson is capable of doing some good stuff. Plus, they're using the majority of the script was already created by Richard Donner, and if they're, but when he said like we tackle some hard issues, that gave me a little PTSD because of current woke Hollywood means hard issues is like race and sexuality and stuff like that. Hopefully to Mel, it means that somebody dies because they're getting too old for this shit.
Well, maybe Danny Glover's character, maybe he'll die. Because he's getting really old too. And
I was going to say,
is Danny Glover still even acting?
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while. The last time I saw him, I remember thinking, all I hear is your words coming through your dentures, man. Because he can't speak through his fake teeth. It was so weird.
He was recently. He played Santa Claus.
Yeah, on what movie was that? Fat Man. Yeah, that was it. Fat Man. It was the name of that movie.
Oh, that was Mel,
where he played Santa Claus. Yeah.
No. I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Danny Glover played Santa Claus. And
I don't know
movie.
Don't know what that one is.
Last year. I mean, he's still acting. for sure.
Okay, cool.
He's got 2023 credits here. Not none of that shit I've seen, but
So
I mean, I'm
made for
just
Hallmark movies.
assuming that Danny Glover would come back in a Lethal Weapon 5. So
all right. So
There's no reason to make it without Danny Glover. Let's
Yeah.
just
No.
put it. No reason to make it.
you can't make movie. Yeah, you can't make it without Danny Glover. You're right. But let's talk about whether or not we actually want it. You guys, I'm sure you guys are both fans of 1 through 4, right?
sure.
Do we need a 5th that could
No.
potentially taint the previous 4 movies?
No, not at
No.
all.
Okay.
Yeah, the more you make, the more risk you have of ruining great movies prior. And this has been, again, you're very far removed from the 4th one. So
Do we need new Ghostbusters movies? Do we need Axel F to come out on Netflix?
I would argue that with Ghostbusters, we're so far away that with a new cast, like what they're doing with that handoff with the new generation makes sense. But this is not a new generation. This is the same guys?
What about the Beverly Hills Cop movie coming out next month?
that I don't know.
That's just got all the same people in it. They're just all old now. And it looks like they're playing.
Yeah, again, like
I
I don't think they're doing it right. I think Ghostbusters did it right with not with 2016, obviously, but with Afterlife, they introduced a new cast and in a way that honored the original cast and in fact connected them. And then they continued that with Frozen Empire. Whether it was a great movie or not, it was still entertaining, and it was still, you are becoming fans of the new cast.
Right.
Like if another Ghostbusters came out and it only had, one of the guys from that, whatever, I think the more and more we get endeared to this new cast, the more we're not really going to care about. Like, I love Bill Murray, but like, honestly, if he wasn't in Frozen Empire, it wouldn't have changed anything for me.
They could do a whole other series of Ghostbusters movies now because they've passed the torch where they could just have Dan Aykroyd's character come on and be like their Mr. Miyagi or something.
Yeah, right. And we don't need the rest of the guys anymore. Right.
Right. So
or Zeddemore or whatever.
Right.
The thing is, though, like a lot of these places, these movies don't do it right.
Right.
They think that it's pure either it's either pure member berries or it's a completely brand new cast and there's so little connection to the original except outside the name that there's no point in watching it.
Right. And I think that's with number 5 of Lethal Weapon, like this is where I've also said, like I keep saying, like it's okay to end stories. And I think that's where like Lethal Weapon could benefit is like just leave the first 4. And I think a lot of people thought like, oh, maybe 3 was good, and then they came out with the 4th one and it was like still good, like it was a great movie. But like now 5, I think you're probably farther than it was between 3 and 4. Now between 4 and 5, and these guys are old. They're way past their prime.
They're literally too old for this shit.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I don't know if I want to see my heroes and stuff that I used to watch in these old 80s and 90s movies as old, weak, old people. I don't even know what the words to use are. It
could make sense though, but in this case, like,
yeah, right. I mean, I don't know. When you get old, you just kind of start losing your faculties and your senses and stuff, and it sucks to get old. And you start, your joints start hurting, and you get a little long in the face, and it's just, I don't know if I want to see an old Mel Gibson play the same role. It's just I want them, maybe if they're like passing this on,
Mel Gibson looks
to restart.
Good,
I mean, he does, but maybe if they're making this movie to like reset the franchise and do a pass on down to a younger generation or something, but I don't even know if I want that with the weapon movies.
Look at Def Row's comment. That would be sick if they were retired and they were like Private Eyes or something like that, or maybe like someone in their family gets involved somehow. Yeah, and like he tries and goes to get like Murtaugh to like help him. Like, hey, we got it. Like, this is our responsibility, and he rejects it, and then finally they're able to come together through something, or maybe they're forced into it. That would be cool. And then, or maybe one of them ends up getting killed. Maybe Murtaugh dies, and then Mel's got to be the one to figure this all out. Maybe that's the difficult issue, or knowing when to stop type thing.
I have to admit, it's been a long time since I've watched any Lethal Weapon movies, so I need to go revisit those. But
Yeah.
what are they going to be like?
In Lethal Weapon 2? In Lethal Weapon 2, like they were retiring, like they were leaving the force. This guy was gonna, like I think it's hilarious that 30 years later, like there's no way they're still on the force. Like I guess they could be private investigators or captains or whatever. But
they could be behind a desk. But and I mean, Star Trek kind of did that several times where in the movies, Kirk was, he was admiral. He wasn't supposed to be doing anything. He was like, I was just rewatching Wrath of Khan. Like they were just going out to basically do like a circle around the galaxy to train the new crew. And then they get pulled into something. And that happens several times in Generations. That happens
like every single movie up until even Generations. Like he was Admiral Kirk was on board the new Enterprise with the new Enterprise crew, and some the anomaly comes out of nowhere and just sucks them in.
Right.
And you're like, because of course.
Yeah. So
nothing is routine with Captain Kirk. Whenever Captain Kirk says, we're just gonna, kick the tires and do the routine thing, like, get off the ship. Get off the ship.
Right.
Something bad is gonna happen right now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know.
You're right. They could do that.
Now that I think about it, I don't know if I want to see a Lethal Weapon 5.
I told you that's what I was saying. Like,
I don't know if I want to,
because they're so old.
You want to see it because they were good.
Yeah.
But like the real question is, should they make it? No, they should not make it. They should leave it where it is. But Richard Donner did write most of the script, they said. So like to that end, maybe it's good, but he didn't write the whole thing. So they shouldn't.
So they're finishing. Yeah, they're finishing what he started, right?
Yeah.
And did you guys watch the TV show Lethal Weapon?
No.
Okay, so there's a TV show with one of the Wayne's brothers, sons, cousins, whatever.
Right.
And it's actually pretty good. And it's good because the Riggs character, like the Wayne's guy is fine, whatever. He's it takes you a minute to buy him as Murtaugh. But the Riggs character is played by this like phenomenal actor who at the time very few people even knew who he was. And he was so good that he pissed off the entire shooting crew and was eventually killed off in like the third season, whatever, to make way for the guy from American Pie, Stifler. I'm always forgetting his name. But the thing is,
Sean Scott Williams.
Sean Scott. Yeah,
Sean Scott.
So they killed off the Riggs and replaced him with that guy. But the thing is, that show was really well received. In fact, one of my channel, I have like 130K subs on my main channel. And my first video that took off, the very first one, you would think, well, it has to be Star Trek, right? Or the Orville or Stargate. No, the first video that took off and got over 100K views was me talking about Lethal Weapon, the TV show. That's it. That's how popular it was at the time. That my little tiny channel at the time ended up getting 100K views. That really kicked me off into the docs we do today. It was a good show. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it.
Oh, that guy. I know you're talking about. Clayne Crawford. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's a great actor, man.
Yeah. So
he beefed with the Wayne's guy because one of them is woke and one of them is sort of conservative. It's very similar to Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. And that beef came out on screen. There was enough of that anti-chemistry to actually work, until people really liked these characters. It really worked. And I think it worked because their chemistry off screen was also confrontational,
Right.
So a reboot of that series, those movies can work. I'm worried that these guys are so old now that, it's either they need to end this or it needs to be some kind of passing the torch. I'm not going to watch. I don't think I want to see a Lethal Weapon 6 or 7. No matter how successful this is. And if it makes $600-800 million, there will be a 6, even if they kill off the 2 main characters.
There's this weird thing too that people feel like so the new Alien movie was a good example of this. And one of my co-hosts on our panel show on Wednesday, had made a good point. The new Alien Romulus movie. What they should have done with this movie to create more of a buzz about it is just named it Romulus, or maybe not Romulus, it's too close to Star Trek, and then never showed an alien in the teaser. Like, don't just show dark, just show people going crazy, like maybe like a little tail whipping, but like if you do that, you're not only you're generating buzz, but you're not really attaching it to something prior, because now you're just, if the movie sucks, you're running the alien name into the ground even more than it already has been. Like, just make new movies, because then you can tie it to something else. But like, I don't know, like, and the same thing with these Lethal Weapon movies. Like, if you're going to pass the torch to something, like, it's almost better to just like maybe have the winks to what was, like the characters of Murtaugh and Riggs, but it's called something else because now like they're not going to be around, or maybe they die in it, and now the new people take over. I understand the name sells so much, but I think we're at a point now where we could very well benefit from just losing the names on a lot of these things and just creating new IPs. Well, people just want new.
I mean, it's weird, right? It's weird, right, to me that they're using all these movies that they're making. They're all based on characters and actors from the 80s and the 90s. I don't feel like there's any like new superstars outside of maybe Chris Hemsworth and some of these people like attached to the Marvel movies or something that are selling tickets to the movie.
Reachers. There is some good
but that guy fucked himself up. He opened his mouth.
No, I know, but the show was good.
Was the show good? Yes, I agree, but the show is good.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm not going to watch Reacher anymore.
Most people are not going to be aware of his political hot takes, though.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the way it works in this new day and age where everybody's connected as much as we are. 30 years ago, that'd be different. All these people had political views back then, but nobody give a shit. Nowadays, they have these things where they don't know how to control themselves and their political takes.
There's some new franchises that are coming up. Like, to be honest, like look at the Kingsman series. Like, that it's not based on anything. You're right. A lot of these things are based on 80s movies and whatnot, but there are new franchises that are really good, that are being written, produced, they're coming out, they're successful, and I don't think they're getting enough credit for doing something totally new and not having to base their name or their movie on something that we saw 30 years ago. Kingsman is an example, but there's a couple others for sure. That's just the most recent one I just watched. Of course, someone in the chat said they can't wait to see Fast and Furious 27, and it's a crossover with Jurassic Park and James Bond or something. Yeah, you're right. Like, this is where we're at in entertainment, but I do believe there are movies and TV shows that are fresh and new that probably don't get enough attention because we are so connected to the last great thing from our childhood or whatever. Either we're complaining about it or we're waiting for it. That I don't think we give enough credit to movies like Kingsman. Like, Kingsman spawned the 2 movies plus the prequel, which I was not a fan of that. But to be honest, like, that guy's creating a whole cinematic universe out of nothing.
Yeah, I did enjoy those movies.
Like, he also created Argyle, which is going to be connected to those movies, and Kick-Ass. So he created Kick-Ass, brand new franchise. Kingsman, brand new franchise. Argyle, brand new franchise. And then he's going to be after making a couple movies in each one of those franchises, he's going to be connecting those movies together. This guy is creating, I think it's Matt Vaughn. I think he's creating his own cinematic universe out of nothing, not based on anything. That deserves some respect.
It does, and I've talked about, and I've said this too. I think that I think as people who comment on things on a regular basis, we are doing a disservice to people by not talking about things that are good more often, and then also realizing that we're not going to see. We've actually trained our audiences to want to be upset about content, we do need to kind of go back, kind of what you were saying about Lethal Weapon. Like, talk about the things that you really like and enjoy, because people will eventually catch up to that, and you might not see the rewards now.
Yeah.
But I actually have a couple of scripts written about Love, Death, and Robots episodes. That it's an older series and it's been going for a couple seasons, but they're sci-fi vignettes that are so good that everyone overlooks. It would be cool to see someone take one of those like 15-minute vignettes and like expand on it. And one that I'll say that chat can check out if you haven't already, it's called Bad Traveling in season 3. It's it takes place on a boat. The animation is like so much better than a lot of the stuff out there. And I think the soundtrack is done by I want to say by like the 9 Inch Nails guy or something like that. I forget. But either way, who the hell does it? There's a really famous guy attached to it, and I can't even think of it at the moment, but it's I've
seen this. Yeah.
Dude, it's so good. I would love to see them expand on some of these stories that they've told there. But people miss out on it because there's not a whole lot of marketing behind it. There's not people, talking about it constantly, or even TV ads. But
you're talking about the Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix.
Yeah, on Netflix.
Yeah. There's like there's 2 or 3 different anthologies now, right?
Yep.
There was a Love, Death, and Robots episode about a bunch of robots that were in the future talking about humans. I thought was really clever.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool, clever shit in there, and there's some really like esoteric, weird stuff in there, like hive mind shit, and like there's one like kind of Event Horizon type of episode where the guy, it's like this crazy walking nightmare. My skin's crawling just thinking about it. It's so good, guys. Like, seriously, check it out. You could watch it in an afternoon. Like the episodes are so short.
So on that same note, Black Mirror has some really great episodes that could be turned into entire movies, expanded on. One of my favorites, as I'm a huge Star Trek nerd. Everyone here knows that. You guys all know this. So one of my favorite episodes, though, was the Callister episode. I thought that was so clever, the way they spoofed basically TOS and all that. And then they left him in this perpetual system. I thought it was really clever. I thought it was creepy. I thought it had a great ending. You cheered the character. That one episode can spawn like 3 movies easily. Easily.
Yeah.
So like you have that, plus you like some of the other episodes that deal with like entertainment. And I guess you would have to get the write-off on Hollywood to expose and make fun of Hollywood, because that's what a lot of this does, which might be difficult to do. But you're right. Like there are really good new things out there. Someone pointed out that Kingsman and Kick-Ass was a Miller comic. That's correct. He didn't create them from nothing. They were comics. But when I say nothing, is they aren't connected to some franchise we watched when we were 15.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick before we change topics. WG, welcome. Thank you, sir. 5 Salty Nerd Podcast memberships. Make sure if you got those from him that you thank him for us, guys. WG for 5 Salty Nerd memberships. We only have 489 more to go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. And only about 40 more minutes to do it, guys. Let's knock it out. We can get it done.
We got 40 minutes left in it. I don't know if I do. We'll find out.
All right. Next thing we're going to talk about. Let's talk about the.
Hold on 1 second. One more second. We got 5 more memberships gifted.
Woo!
Aaron Charman. Thank you,
math.
Aaron. That's very nice of you. Very, very, very generous. Very generous. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. And now we're at
awesome. Now we only need 484. Yeah.
484. Let's go. We're getting closer. We're getting closer.
Oh shit.
Okay. So let's talk about this James O'Keefe thing. So James O'Keefe, if you guys didn't know, he used to run Veritas, and now he's running his own James O'Keefe studio, because there's a lot of stuff with that, right? Like, because he was like kicked out or something.
Yeah, the board of directors, basically booted him.
Whatever it was, I'm glad they did, because since he was removed from Veritas and doing his own thing, he's only gotten way better at this shit. And he does these things, and I'll show you. he does these things where he has these like secret meetings. They're usually at a coffee shop or perhaps a diner or something, restaurant. It almost makes me think that maybe they're on a date, you know, or something along those lines. They're on some kind of, they're clearly with someone in a capacity where they feel safe enough to talk, right?
Right.
And he gets these people who are ingrained in these large companies, like in this case Disney, to just shed their worst secrets, and then he exposes it, and it's fantastic. I don't know how he does it, but I'm assuming that whoever that person's talking to is very attracted to. That is the only thing that makes sense, and he's trying to impress that person by virtue signaling as hard as he can.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna watch this, then we're gonna comment on it. Let me know if you guys can't hear the audio.
So he's on a date with this woman that he set up with this, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming he's on a date.
Some kind of Hinge date or something. I think they call it. I don't even know what that means, but
it's some dating app. Yeah, there was another one he did where it was some guy. He was on a date. A guy was on a date with a guy, and he got a lot of information out of that.
How was a 45-year-old Disney executive using the phone app to go on a date? What is wrong with this guy?
I don't know. They're in some kind of restaurant drinking wine. That guy, he looks like someone who strikes out with the ladies a lot.
Well, like, I mean, anyone who's sitting there bragging like this deserves to be single forever. Like, just go home to your cats and hate yourself over your glass of wine.
No offense to all my unbearded friends out there, but ladies, if you're dating a man without a beard, you're dating a girl.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
All right, let's watch this and then we'll comment on it.
Certainly, there have been.
You can hear the audio?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Times where there's no way we're hiring a white male.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
how would they say it?
There's no way we're hiring a white male. They say
like straight to you,
God.
Okay.
It's
Says
very
the white
careful
guy.
how they message that to agents.
Right.
According to these videotapes, Disney blatantly discriminates against whites, white men in particular.
I think
I'm gonna pause this real quick because I have a perfect personal story that just happened to me. So my wife is a school administrator. She works as a school administrator for like a public school and like handicapped kids, right? Well, as you know, for a few months out of the year, they don't work, and she needs to work, so she usually picks up like part-time work during the summertime. And this year, she was like, I want to work at Disney this year so we can take our kids to Disney. So she went on the website, she applied, she had an interview within like 3 days. They hired her on the Zoom interview, pretty much flat out, and she started filling out paperwork. When I saw how easy it was, my wife, by the way, is Hispanic. She's a Latina, spicy Latina. And she looks like a Latina, So I think that they saw the Zoom call and they were like, oh, sweet. Let's check some boxes. Because when I saw how easy it was and she got hired, I was like, well, damn, I'll take some part-time work too, Business has been slow lately. So I applied for a job that I am overqualified for, that I have a degree in. It was to be fair, it was like paying a lot of money. And I never even got a returned email. It's been 2 weeks now, and I've done that thing where you inquiry more than once. But guess what? My name is Brian Montgomery, and my social my media clearly has me as a white guy.
Yep.
And a conservative, and they completely just ignored my application. So this just happened. So when I saw this report from James O'Keefe, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's go back to it.
I'm sort of like well prepared for it. I'm well positioned for it. But as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male. That's not who they're looking at promoting them.
As a white guy, even Michael has his own doubts about the possibility for advancement for himself at Disney. In fact, Michael actually got to experience Disney's discrimination against white males firsthand.
I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in HR and I have friends in those divisions, and they're like, look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white belts for the shop. They're just not. That's not what they want.
They even passed over a qualified half-black person for a promotion because they didn't.
Quick criticism. James O'Keefe, turn the background music down, dude. Oh my God, I thought I had another tab open for a minute.
Yeah.
Look black
Too
enough.
loud, right?
Yep.
We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't like appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, "We're not like that's not what's wrong." Like they wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting. I mean, it kind of feels like we're, you know, at some point there's going to be a lawsuit. That's kind of how it feels, just because of, you know.
And that is a lawyer talking. So how does Disney explain pushing these discriminatory practices? They use code words and buzzwords.
I'm guessing that there's a acceptable code words and buzzwords that are used to explain what they're looking for.
So, you know, we're going to stop there for a second because Christopher Mays, my good friend, said, as much, the 499, thank you, Christopher, by the way, as much as I think that Disney definitely is discriminating against white men, I did not find the guy in this video credible. And to his point, when he said, I'm guessing they're using buzzwords, etc., it doesn't seem like he's very close to it, which might actually prove his point because he's the white guy. And he can't be that close to it considering he works at Disney.
Not for much longer, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not much longer. So he is the senior vice president and team lead at 20th Century, the Walt Disney Company. So he is connected to it, but I think maybe part of this was him complaining about not getting promoted because he's white too, which I'm not saying didn't happen.
I think he just got a glass of wine and he just started blathering a bunch of stuff that he probably shouldn't be saying. I mean, he's a high up there executive, right? This isn't just some like frontline guy. That
senior vice president and team lead at 20th Century Television, right? So
yeah, I mean, he knows what's up.
It's not Walt Disney proper, it's 20th Century, but yeah, close enough. Yeah, and and you guys go watch this video. We're not gonna play the entire thing. It's 20 minutes.
Yeah,
but that article you sent is actually pretty good. This is from Sean Hannity, and they basically, what's that?
I said you got it. I didn't know if you.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. They discussed this exact video, and there's a lot more to it than this. Like, this is not the first time they've released that Disney discriminates specifically against white people and specifically against white straight men. This is just the most recent and the most popular, but there have been other leaks and different releases out there and webs and articles and stuff that have tackled this exact problem. So, Dutch Butters, let me ask you a question, man. The quality of Disney has dropped, at least entertainment wise, has dropped dramatically over the last 10 years. Do you think that has something to do with not hiring white men, specifically straight white men?
Well, it has everything to do with them just trying to promote their agenda that they're trying to promote. I think something, I saw something or heard something just yesterday about, they were talking about this very same thing where they say like writers' rooms for these movies and television shows are like 35% DEI, with all the different boxes that they have to get checked for these things, and they're specifically told to include, trans stuff and, put a bunch of little things in there that are going to send us a specific message to people. And it's not good. It's ruined all of our entertainment, man. They just what else is there to say? They're ruining entertainment by putting all of this stuff in there, and these hiring practices for you need so many white people, so many black people, so many women. That's not a new thing. You know,
No,
I got
it's
passed over
amped
for
up.
a job 30 years ago because they were trying to get a quota. They just called it quotas back then, not
Right.
it wasn't diversity and equity and inclusion. It's just like, hey man, I got to hire 2 more women before we can hire many more guys, you know, that kind of stuff. Now it's just taking over corporate America. It's crazy. So,
Yeah. So at one point in this interview, Giordano also admits that Disney gives bonuses to executives for practicing diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI,
mhm,
agreeing that diversity helps with financial incentives.
mhm.
Can I ask you a question, Shag? I can't put my finger on this. Maybe you have more information. How is it financially how does Disney make money off of DEI?
I think well, they're not. These movies aren't turning a profit, but I think what the incentives are like the money from investors that they're getting is because like they're, hey, we'll give you more money if you have better representation in your movies. And even a lot of other companies are getting this very same treatment. They're, we're getting grants or extra money because we have 50% staff that are women, or, all of them are in wheelchairs or whatever. So like that's just how, the good thing is I think they're seeing, and even Disney is seeing, that it just doesn't work. They're not turning profits because of this, this thing. So
they're not turning a profit.
Yeah, but they just keep doubling down though. They don't care about money anymore.
Well, to be fair, here's all
they have to be making money somewhere, right? What if their score is getting so high that they're getting more and more investment from BlackRock, Vanguard, etc.? Because why else would they just completely tank entire franchises like this?
Well, I think there's one aspect of it is that movies take a long time to make, and I think a lot of these things have been in the pipeline long enough where, like, well, we're financially committed to these things, and this is what we're doing, and now they're out. I think you're seeing better quality stuff. And I think people have realized this stuff isn't working. We can't put it out. Even Marvel said that they're going to cut back on a lot of the shows. I think they silently canceled She-Hulk recently. Like that. I mean, these things aren't, they realize they're not profitable. Like what they did was wrong. And from a business standpoint, they can't keep investing money into just like, well, we need a bunch of women in the show, they're realizing that, as Aaron said, the market forces are coming into play. The people they went and saw these movies. They thought Disney thought were going to be hits. They weren't. And now the other stuff that's coming out, no one's going to see because they don't give a crap anymore.
You know what? I like that. So because it takes so long to make these movies, we're seeing the reaction before they can react. So you're saying that, it's going to correct itself over time.
Yeah,
it has to. But because of how long it takes to make a movie, market the movie, release the movie, et cetera, we're just seeing it in like this delayed state. That's interesting.
Right. And
that's also hopeful.
Yeah, but you're also seeing them trying to do real-time damage control that's not working either. Like most audiences are, even like your wife, who's not necessarily plugged into the entertainment side of things the way we are, they watch these shows and they're like, this is just objectively bad. Not even because I know that diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's just it's so poorly written, and that's what people want. People want good storytelling.
I don't care about these characters. I don't care about this story. I don't care where they're at. Yeah, when you have to, if you want to watch a TV show or a movie, like the most important thing is for you to care about the characters on screen, whether you hate them or love them. You have to feel emotion for them.
Yeah.
And the biggest emotion I feel for Star Wars lately is just apathy.
Yeah.
I don't care. I have no interest. Rings of Power is apathy. I used to be mad. At least I watched it because I was mad. Now I'm not even mad. Now I'm just annoyed that I'm being forced to watch it because Matt Kadish put it on the call sheet.
I know, right? It's like,
Here's something I'll tell you. I'm going to write a review for it on Critic List because I like that app, and a quick little plug to those guys.
Yeah.
Blaine's awesome. The Inside Out 2 was an amazing movie if you haven't watched it. And I'll use the word amazing. It was a near perfect movie. The only thing I wish they had done with it is done it from a male perspective, because I thought it would have been really interesting to watch. Like, whatever. It was a good, one-off, or it's a good offshoot or sequel rather to the first one, but it was so well done there may have been like a wink of wokeness in the very, very beginning, but it was so fleeting that I didn't even pay attention to it. But it was such a well-made film about how a young girl starts puberty and like all these complex emotions, and how they go from these simple emotions that you have as a kid, anger, sadness, happiness, fear, and disgust, and how that totally changes. And you get anxiety, and you get embarrassment, and envy, and there's one other one I can't remember. But like all of these things end up having to coalesce at some point, and you learn to deal with them. And it was done so well. Like my 7-year-old was sitting there laughing and enjoying it. I was sitting there at a couple of moments just getting kind of choked up because of how well it was written. Like they didn't preach at you. They didn't preach at you the way that a lot of times Disney does it. And this is a Disney Pixar film.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Okay, so I'll take my kids to watch it. You know why there can't be a male version of that though? Because instead of being rated PG, it'd be rated X, rated R, NC-17.
Right.
You want to talk about a boy coming into his hormones?
Just a walking boner.
A disaster.
That's true. That's
you
true.
Can't
Good
put
point.
that on
Good
screen.
point. Well, the reason
I remember being 14, bro. I don't want anyone to know what was happening in my head at that time.
No, not
there
at
is
all.
there would be a decent case to be made for it. Only, I mean, not for that, but like understanding how emotionally closed off men can be and how it's required, and like what we kind of go through a lot of times with dealing with that, and how like the suppression of everything can really build into our anger and fears and all that stuff. Would have been a very interesting take on it, but yeah. Well, Fisto says his daughter didn't like it, but I don't know.
I find it interesting that we're saying that there's a cycle going through here, that stuff they're going to be coming out of this woke phase because it just takes so long to make these things, and they know what the problem is, but yet at the same time they're still making stuff like this Blade movie. They can't even get a decent script written because they want to make it so freaking woke.
So I think part of that though is people fighting back against it. I think that there is a civil war going on with that.
They let that actress, the chick, that Amanda whatever, who's the star of ACOLYTE, they let her put out that silly ass video, that song of hers where she's just doing nothing but attacking fans for being racist pieces of shit. I mean, you guys saw that video, right? That came out this week.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, if you're the head of, if you're Kathleen Kennedy, are you happy with her right now for putting that out?
No, she doesn't have to be. But she doesn't let her put it out. She put it out there. I doubt she said, "Hey, Kathleen, can I put this out?" No, she probably put it out there thinking that she was the smartest person in the room.
Right in the middle of the ACOLYTE series run.
I gotta say that I don't think Kathleen Kennedy even knew about it, and I think that's going to limit this person's. I
just see them doubling down on this stuff as well. So maybe this movie, what was it called? I didn't see the first
Inside
one.
Out too.
Yeah, maybe it might be an anomaly or something.
Well,
but
no,
I don't see them changing their ways.
I see where you're coming from though, Shag. Like, look at David Zaslav from Warner Brothers. He was at Discovery. He got hired to Warner Brothers as CEO, so he took over Max, right? HBO Max. Mm-hmm. And they combined their streaming services. What was the first thing he did? Like, the very first thing he did was went in there and he looked at their catalog, and he literally deleted like a third of their catalog that he thought would hurt future IP. He started with Batgirl. Batgirl was going to come out, and that guy was like, "Nope, delete it." Yep. Right, that thing that was text. It's going to hurt future movies that we have planned, and he didn't even have a plan at the time. This is before he even hired James Gunn, and he was already canceling movies. He canceled like 15 titles because he thought that they wouldn't make any money. And you know what? He was probably right, dude. Like, Batgirl was probably not going to make a penny, and it would probably damage the DC franchise further than all the stuff that went on with Snyder and all that. So you know what? It was a good idea to do that. And maybe we need more CEOs with balls that are cool to take the backlash and just delete things that are bad ideas.
I can't wait till the end of the summer when everybody's going to be saying, "Oh, Disney's back," because this Inside Out movie was successful, and we all know that Deadpool Wolverine's going to make
Deadpool is going to, yeah, but Deadpool's an anomaly.
But both of these movies, I think, are anomalies when it comes to Disney, Pixar
especially
kind of
Deadpool
stuff.
though. Like Deadpool,
They just-
Disney has nothing to do with Deadpool, really. It's like
Right.
it's like Ryan,
Right.
it's like Ryan and Reynolds
I
and his team.
totally get that. Totally get that. But people are going to be crediting. It's like, oh, Marvel's back, and and Disney's back on track to make billions of dollars in movies again. And it's just that's not the case. It's just
Well,
not.
I do
you're
think-
right, but I hope that happens so I can sell my positions finally and
You
not
just need to
take a
get rid of them.
loss. That's it.
You just-
That's all I
you just
want to
gotta
do.
take a
Well,
loss.
80% of my stock is now Disney, and I can't get rid of it because it's a loss right now.
Well, I do think that, I mean, it's good to, I'm not saying that Disney's back necessarily, but it is definitely good to see, like, there's plenty of opportunities in Inside Out 2 for them to have gone another direction, and they didn't. They walked the line really well in this, and I think they, without being a woman myself, like, I think I really understood how her emotions were really going and tugging at each other, and but yeah, I mean, no, they need to develop a pattern and understand, like, where their audience is, like what we're saying isn't to take a hit at women, isn't to take a hit at anything else other than bad creative choices, bad writing, what a bad cinematography, all that stuff is playing a role into our opinions on things, especially Disney, Star Wars. Like, it's just like, I mean, bad press around it. I just can't understand how anyone looks at that stuff and thinks this is smart. Let's just take hits at people instead of really talking about the lore, the world that we're creating. Let's put that forward. And I think it's partially because they know we made this thing and now we have to eat it.
Well, maybe it's also like a slow turning ship. Like, maybe they can see that they're heading to rough waters, but they've already hired these people, so they have to at least fake it to make it and try to promote it and try to blame it on something else while they're attempting to turn this behemoth. It might be that, like, they already hired all these writers. Like, can you just fire entire writer rooms? Well, at Warner Brothers they can.
You can,
but at Disney can they? Because that's what David Zaslav did. Zaslav fired a third of their staff that underperformed. Imagine that, just walking in and be like, "Yeah, you've made us zero money. You're fired."
Yeah, every other company does that. Yeah,
Isn't
other company.
Isn't that what Elon did to Twitter? It's like,
Elon
just
did
went
the
in there,
same thing.
Fired.
But can Disney do that? I don't think Disney can do that. I don't think Paramount can do that. Like, they can't hire a bunch of people to write Starfleet Academy. Then after the first season, when it doesn't underperform, they can just fire them. Like, they might be able to cancel the show, but those people have to go somewhere.
I think they can. I think
CEOs and people in charge that are really there for the profit, not for the woke crap, not for the DEI, need to start growing some balls. Like David Zaslav took some hits on the chin. Like, people complain. They're like, someone said in the chat, there are crybabies still complaining about Batgirl. Yeah, I know. It was just let it go. It's a shitty movie. But you know what? David Zaslav took a hit. I'm sorry, but HBO, Warner Brothers was really losing an insane amount of money. They still are, but he stemmed that bleeding by deleting stuff, writing things off taxes. He made hard decisions. I think we need more of that, dude. We need more Elon Musks.
Yeah, that's the thing is, again, from our chairs, it's like really easy to say, yeah, just cut the fat, right?
Right.
But the amount of risk that's involved with that is really high, because if it's wrong, if you're wrong, not only did you put a bunch of people out of work, but you essentially put yourself out of a huge job, and then no one's going to hire you at that level, because you have no idea how to manage something. You're probably going to kill a company, especially Elon, like the way, even though he bought that company himself, and then, he lays off like 80% of the staff or whatever. Like, that's a huge, huge risk that not a lot of people can afford to do. And not to mention the emotional, like, hits that you're taking from people literally on the chin for doing it. But you're right in that's what needs to happen.
Dude, at X though, or Twitter, they said he just fired 80% of their staff. We doubt the website will be up tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's never gone down.
exactly.
It's only expanded. In fact, when he made the complaint department, which was an entire department of people that you can write to, he just changed their entire department to just send back a poop emoji as a reply. Like there's an entire department of people you can complain to, and now when you email that department, it just replies with a poop emoji, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty
Look,
good.
look, it's still operating. It might have some issues, but it's operating. It's lean and mean, and I think that Warner Brothers is going to come into a place where they're lean and mean too. I think you're right. I think that maybe it's a slow turning ship, and I think that some of these giant studios, it just takes a lot of time for them to turn it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with that because I like that optimism. Hopefully that's the case. And I think Deadpool is going to be an anomaly, but so we'll see what happens next with Marvel after.
I don't think we can keep on this track for forever. Someday everything will switch back around, and it'll probably go too far the other way. That's how the pendulum works, right? Yeah. So we'll be back to wearing freaking bell-bottom pants and
there's this mechanism built into youth. Like there was like this self-correcting mechanism built, you could say by a higher power, by society, whatever. But like youth always want to rebel against whatever the trend is, whatever the youth want to be rebels. They want to be pirates. They want to be, they're against the grain. So what happens is when something becomes the norm, like trans, DEI, all this entertainment, like the generation coming up behind this previous generation, 12 to 15-year-olds right now, like that generation is like stupid. I'm over this. And they're going to rebel. And that self-correcting mechanism is going to set us up for 15, 20 years of normalcy. That's going to go a little farther the other way. And then the next generation will rebel. That's been happening for years. Now, the pendulum does swing pretty wide lately. Like, I don't know how wide it can swing before it breaks off its hinge, but I think that mechanism is still in place.
I think social media allows people to take the pendulum and force it farther. That's why. But I think when you see these big companies like Paramount, in like the streaming services that the big production companies that now have streaming platforms, I think you're seeing them sort of fall apart a little bit, and even HBO and Cinemax, because they don't really know how to manage it all, but they'll crumble a little bit. They'll merge together back into the smaller ones again, and you'll start seeing better content come out because they don't have any choice. Otherwise they're completely gone. And then what, so it has to course correct at some point. And I think it's also incumbent on us, those who make the content, to talk about the stuff that is good, grant Disney and whatever a little leeway with a movie that works well. Right. I mean, so.
Yeah. The biggest thing about reviewers is, and this is actually pretty important. We cannot do what they do and gaslight everything for clicks.
Right.
We have to be honest. Now, if it's bad, be honest. But if it's good, like give it its due when it's good. You have to, if you're going to review something, please don't just review all the shit. Like, actually be honest about your review. And if you're like, well, I can't be honest about this review because it's gonna, it's gonna damage my reputation. Well, you're sort of part of the problem. So let's try to be honest reviewers, because that's what reviewers do. They're honest, right?
Agreed.
They should be anyways. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up, folks. I guess we never saw Odin or Tom. That's cool.
I think Odin's traveling. I think I missed the message, but
this is
Tom just was like, Matt's not there today. I'm not going to hang out. I'm not going to show up. He's got 14 other streams to be on today anyway.
Listen, this is the 3 best anyway.
That's fine.
3 best friends that anyone ever had. Yeah.
We're the 3 best friends. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap it up. Shagworth, where can people find you, my friend?
Oh, find me all over the internet. All my socials are at the Shagsworth. Mainly YouTube and Twitter. And then I just started up doing more Twitch stuff again, got my affiliate ship back. So support me on those channels. I do a show usually Monday and Thursday evenings where I sit down one-on-one with someone and talk to them about their work. A lot of times it's somewhat that I enjoy. Recently, I've been talking with people who I disagree with and who are quite controversial in our spaces. And then on Wednesday, I have a panel show, the Midweek Hump, where I talk about just pop culture, entertainment stuff, kind of like this. So yeah, follow me.
Cool.
Love you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. All right.
awesome.
Well, don't leave right when we end because I want to talk to you because I think that we should do some more stuff.
Sure.
Dutch Butters, the man, the myth, the legend. Once he got in a fight with Chuck Norris, and Chuck Norris lost.
You guys have to stop doing that. But, no, the Dutch Butter stuff has been fun over on our gaming channel. I want to encourage everybody to
gaming channel is great. I don't even play Helldivers, and I like the content. It's crazy.
But we're doing like 4 or 5 live streams a week. We're doing the podcast for Helldivers on Tuesdays. And the guys over there are memeing the shit out of me. We even had a guy write me a theme song just out of the blue and put it on YouTube. Go check out Endless Tavern's rendition of the Legend of Dutch Butters. It's a kick-ass metal theme that he wrote for us. It's super fun. Yeah. So go follow us over on Salty Nerd Gaming. We're having a ton of fun over there playing Helldivers, and it's good stuff. And we'll be doing. We're going to be releasing more review shows on the Salty Nerd podcast channel. We did put a video out this week explaining that we're not going to be doing the Tuesday live stream anymore. We're going back to our roots. We're going to be just reviewing fun shows, fun movies, stuff that we want to talk about and hang out with each other like we used to. So we're still doing the Saturday show. We got the Salty Nerd Gaming channel. We're going to be doing reviews on the Salty Nerd podcast channel, and things are going well. So see you all around.
Okay. And you guys know where you can find me at Popcast Guys and youtube.com/thepopcast. Also, my live channel, which is Pop Culture Unleashed. I'm sure the link is somewhere, but if not, whatever. We love you guys. We'll see you next, I guess, Thursday for me, next Thursday at 4, and Saturday, of course, at 10. I'm sure Matt will be back by then, and I'm sure he's happy about it. That's it. Thank you for your support today. Thank you for the memberships. You know, we didn't reach our 500 goal, but you know what? It's okay. 20 is not bad. I'll take 20 or whatever it was.
So,
all right, guys. 16. It's good.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's try next. Look, we'll keep this exact thing going next Saturday. So next Saturday, our membership goal will be 481. Okay?
481. Okay.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys.
Hey, folks, thanks so much for watching this live stream. If you want to watch our previous live stream, make sure to click right here. Or if you would like to check out one of our favorite highlights, click right here.
I don't know if you ended it. I can't end it.